Welcome to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo with the July 26th, 2023, 183rd edition, always broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios along with Colleen Daniel and the About Mansfield news team. Coming up today, as always, it's Mansfield News and Talk.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
Jury sentences Timberview shooter to 12 years in prison.
Polish up your bowling shoes. We'll talk about it on A Moment with the Mayor. Nonprofit charity names a new executive director.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks with local music legend, Dr. Scott Ferrell. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this, an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a wedding reception, corporate Christmas party, or community gathering. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and we all remember the storm that blew through our town back in June that pelted this community with baseball-sized hail. It did a ton of damage around Mansfield, including my own roof. Regular listeners to About Mansfield have heard Paul Duncan's commercials for Trinity Roofing and Construction, and after the storm, I reached out to him, and boy, am I glad that I did. From the first call to Paul to working with the crew leader, the scheduling department, and the entire construction team, and how it all played out with my insurance company, working with Trinity Roofing and Construction was a breeze. It's easy to see why they're a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So if you're thinking on replacing your roof, look no further than Trinity Roofing and Construction. They're a Mansfield-based company, and you can find them on the web at trinityroofingconstruction.com. Again, that's trinityroofingconstruction.com.
No matter your familiarity with buying or selling real estate, having an experienced, trusted advisor on speed dial is priceless. The Roger and Beth team of Century 21 Judge Fight is here to be that resource for you. Whether you're buying right here in Mansfield or your dreams are taking you elsewhere, we are ready to help you with turning that vision into a reality. To learn more, visit our website at homesinmansfield.com. That's homesinmansfield.com.
Hi, I'm Carmen McMillan, Executive Director of Mansfield Mission Center, inviting you to make our thrift store your one stop for shopping, donating, and volunteering. When neighbors buy your donations, the proceeds help other Mansfield neighbors in need with free services including financial assistance, employment help, food, medical, dental, and vision care. Voted Best Thrift Store in 2019 by Living Magazine, the Mansfield Mission Center Thrift Store is located at Broad and Walnut Creek. For more details, visit our website at mansfieldmission.org. That's mansfieldmission.org.
Yeah, we thought we'd give that PSA one more spin before Carmen Harris steps down from the Mission Center next week. Let's do this one too.
Hi, I'm Carmen McMillan, Executive Director of Mansfield Mission Center, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center.
Welcome back to About Mansfield.
We, the jury, having found the defendant, Timothy George Simpkins, guilty of the offense of criminal attempt to commit capital murder, assess his punishment at confinement in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for a period of 12 years, and in addition to such confinement, assess a fine of $6,000.
A Tarrant County jury convicted 20-year-old Timothy Simpkins of attempted capital murder last week for a 2021 shooting at Timberview High School. The two-day sentencing hearing started on Friday, and the jury returned on Monday to hear testimony from Simpkins himself.
I understand what I did was wrong. Very, very wrong. And I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. I just asked for another chance. Probation, max probation, the worst, the strictest probation possible.
Are you just
Are you just now showing your remorse today?
No, ma'am.
Have you shown your remorse throughout since the day it happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Prosecuting attorney Lloyd Welshel followed up on Simpkins' request for probation.
You just asked the jury to give you a very restrictive probation, the most restrictive there is.
Yes,
All
sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
You had that while you were on bond and you failed. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
But you want them to do it, give you yet another chance.
Yes, sir.
Even though at every opportunity you continue to fail.
Yes, sir.
Simpkins stayed on the stand for over 90 minutes and fielded questions from the state prosecutor, who recalled a shooting incident at a local gas station that Simpkins was involved in just days before the shooting at Timberview. Simpkins admitted to bringing a gun in a holster to Timberview up to 7 days in a row, leading up to the shooting of a teacher and 2 students. After the sentencing was handed down, teacher and shooting victim Calvin Pettit concluded the proceedings by addressing Simpkins face to face.
I'd also like to make it abundantly clear that not a single person in this courtroom was happy to hear your sentence. I've prayed continuously that you don't receive a life sentence in prison. Your life is valuable and you do deserve a second chance. But not right now. October 6, 2021 will be the day you, Zach, Shania, Ms. Altman, myself, and everyone else involved will remember for the rest of our lives. A day in which we all lost our peace, our freedom, and our livelihood. For those things, I do feel your pain and suffering. However, for the pain and suffering you have inflicted upon the people I love, I'm not sure if I can forgive you. Your choices on that day have completely stripped me of the ability to return to work and make a positive impact on students. On a daily basis, I'm riddled with lasting effects of PTSD, anxiety, depression, irritability, and a genuine fear of being in loud, crowded, or public spaces. What I once hoped to be my lifelong career as an educator abruptly ended in a tragic and violent manner, and I am now faced with finding a new meaning and purpose for my life, and I still have no idea what I will do. Your actions and attempts to avoid consequences through a false narrative of bullying are cowardly and shameful, but by the grace of God, Zach, Shania, and I are still alive today. I do not hate you, I do not harbor a great amount of resentment for you, but I am extremely hurt by what you did to me and my friends and family.
Timothy George Simpkins, guilty of attempted capital murder for the shooting at Timberview High School, sentenced to 12 years in prison and a fine of $6,000. The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. We call this A Moment with the Mayor. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council. As we say every other Tuesday, Mayor Michael Evans, top of the morning.
Good morning, sir. It is good to be here with you today.
Let's recap what happened last Monday night at the council meeting. You started with recognition to my friends out there at the farmers market.
You know what we did? We recognized some good people, Amanda and Brandon Mancuso, for their efforts at the farmers market. Now located at the lot, we appreciate the great work that they do, my friend. And we also recognized the hard work of our summer interns. These young adults have, they've learned a lot, I'm sure, about their local government this season. And you know what? All of them said that they wanted to come back. So I think that's a good thing. We didn't run them off. We attracted them to Mansfield and to working for our municipality.
Gotta love those interns.
Yes, you do.
All right. Then you got into something really exciting. Everybody's been yearning for entertainment in Mansfield, and this sounds awesome.
You know what? We are getting a new location for residents to actually enjoy bowling.
Bowling.
Yes, mini golf.
Mini golf. Putt-putt.
I'm telling you, we're just bustling with activity. So the city council, what we did was we approved an economic development agreement with High Five Entertainment to build an entertainment center right here in our town. Now, Steve, you and maybe others, those who are listening, they may have been to the High Five in Austin. We know a lot of people have, and we know a lot of folks who wanted this kind of a place in Mansfield, and we are happy to bring it with a plan to be completed by the end of 2024. We're looking forward to some great fun, great entertainment. I tell you what, things are opening up in Mansfield.
I tell you what, Let's. Well, then you started getting serious. Tax abatement agreements. What was that all about?
Well, you know what? In order to attract businesses to Mansfield, what our council did was approve the use of tax abatement agreements. Now, this is just one more tool that we can use to recruit desired businesses and industry to Mansfield, and this will provide good jobs, goods, and services for our community. So, actually, what we're doing is we're laying it out. People can go to the website, and if they want to relocate here to Mansfield, they can say, hey, these are some possible incentives that will help my business to plant here, grow here, and prosper here, and we are really excited about that.
This came up on social media last night. First of all, what is, and then is a neighborhood empowerment zone good for Mansfield?
Yes, it is very good for Mansfield because this will allow us to increase economic development and the quality of social services, education, public safety to the residents in these zones. And what we're doing is we are incentivizing development and in some cases redevelopment and revitalization. Now, this is important because when you increase or enhance the tax base, we know what that does. That takes the tax burden off of those of us who live in Mansfield. And it makes for a beautiful city, a well-rounded economy. So, yeah, this is a really good thing. And the zone will run along the highways that run through our city and the downtown district. So we're future focused in making sure that Mansfield is a beautiful place to live, learn, play, not just now, but well into the future.
Let's talk about some zoning changes, one along 1187, the other at South Point.
We approved a zoning change on FM 1187 for a planned development district. And what it'll do is it'll contain mixed office uses. We also approved a zoning change for the South Point property at US 287 and 360. Now, they plan to bring a mixed-use development that will include a large green space. Also, it's going to be a nice size pond there, hoping that people will go fishing there, those folks who live in the South Point area. We're talking about bringing plenty of retail. So we knew that area was going to be growing and developing, and here we are. It's going to be a beautiful space, Steve.
Then you got into the consent agenda, 7 items. I'm just going to tee it up. You knock it down the fairway. What happened with the consent agenda?
Well, we approved 7 consent agenda items, an agreement with Mouser Electronics, a $822,500 contract with AAA Time Saver Services. This is for restroom additions and concession building renovations at the Skinner Sports Complex. Also, a $224,260 contract with Kimley Corn and Associates to prepare, here we go, railroad quiet zones, yay, for Walnut Creek Drive, Broad Street, and Wisteria. Some of you, like me, who live clear across town, can still hear the whistle of the train coming through. So this is finally for the development of quiet zones, and the quiet zones will reduce the need for trains to blow their horns at these intersections at all times of the night.
So no more, I hear the train a-coming?
You know what? For some of us, yeah. For some of us. I'm not going to promise, but for some of us. And also a $265,000 contract, again, with Kimley Corn to prepare improvements at the East Broad Street and Wisteria intersection. And by that, we mean putting a light there. Many people have called for that for a long time. So it'll be lights there and a crosswalk there so people can cross the street safely. And a $182,000 contract with Teague, Knoll, and Perkins to prepare Elizabeth Lane for public bidding and construction. And also during the work sessions, we received an update on the 88th state legislative session and discussed fiscal year 2024 budget. And believe it or not, sir, that was it.
And out by 9 o'clock.
We were out by 9 o'clock doing the folks' business. We started at about 3 p.m. And wrapped it up. So, yeah, we did a little work.
It wasn't one of those 2-hour work days.
No, never that.
That's a moment with the mayor, Michael Evans. Let's do it again in 2 weeks.
I look forward to seeing you, sir. You have a great rest of the day and a great week, sir.
The Mansfield Mission Center announced on Sunday that Brian McFadden will become the new executive director of the nonprofit charity. With over 20 years' experience as the compassion pastor at Rush Creek Church, McFadden brings a wealth of knowledge and passion for helping under-resourced families in both domestic and international communities. At Rush Creek Church, he has played a key role in developing outreach centers and implementing various initiatives to support families in need. Under McFadden's leadership, Mansfield Mission Center aims to expand its outreach programs and strengthen its commitment to empowering under-resourced families within the Mansfield ISD community. McFadden takes the helm of the Mansfield Mission Center officially on August 7th, while outgoing Executive Director Dr. Carmen Harris pursues a career in education at UTA. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, the good, the bad, the ugly, what's on your mind, you can reach us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. That's 817-435-2938. Give it a call. Maybe your voice will wind up right here on the podcast.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
Energy drinks, are they safe? I'm Angel Biasatti with Methodist Mansfield Medical Center. Which one is good for you? We'll talk about the best one to choose in Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
I'm Beth Steinke, and today we're going to provide some important cautions to renters on the Mansfield Real Estate Report.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, I'll be talking about a cocktail that will have you thinking, where have you been my whole life?
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by the Grand View Event Center.
The housing market is evolving as interest rates rise to meet inflation. Speculation abounds as to what the future may hold. Do you have a trusted advisor? The Roger and Beth team at Century 21 Judge Fight should be your first call in all matters concerning real estate and the market. We specialize in residential real estate for both buyers and sellers. With industry partners across North America, our resources and expertise can turn the home you've been envisioning into a reality. Visit our website at homesinmansfield.com to learn more. That's homesinmansfield.com.
I'm Philip Washington, Chief Investment Officer of Stonehill Wealth Management and host of the Wealth Building Made Simple podcast. First book I read in college was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. And since then, I've read tons and tons of books on money. And what I've done is taken those lessons, simplified them, and I talk about those lessons on my podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple. So come hang out with us. We're on every major platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. Wealth Building Made Simple.
Congratulations to Sheila Betzel, who was the first person to correctly answer last week's Mansfield Trivia Question. In what year was the railroad trestle near North Street built? Sheila knew that even though 1906 is stamped on it, the railroad trestle was built in 1885, and she has won a $25 restaurant gift card. By the way, 1906 is when the trestle was refurbished. When we come back, this week's trivia question. This is About Mansfield.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo. I want to take a second to tell you about Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio 3.0. It's where we record and produce the About Mansfield podcast episodes. What started out as an audio-only studio, Podcast Mansfield is now a full-service audio and video recording studio, complete with custom green screen backgrounds, 2 high-definition cameras, editing, mixing, and mastering capabilities, and we can also help market your podcast. Podcast Mansfield is home to such great locally produced shows, such as Wealth Building Made Simple, We Are TPM, and Wealth Think Tank Television, just to name a few. So whether you're a hands-on person or just need a place to record your podcast or need advice from concept to completion, Podcast Mansfield is here to help. Conveniently located on Heritage Parkway, just off of 287 right here in Mansfield. Mention the About Mansfield podcast and you get to record your first episode at no charge. For more information on starting your podcast, or if you're looking for a better place to record, Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio can be found on the internet at podcastmansfield.com.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right now, this very second. Don't go away, because it's time for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield Trivia Question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. And you can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. Let's get to this week's question, Colleen.
Well, Steve, we don't have to go too far back in time for this week's question. The Mansfield ISD Center for the Performing Arts is a multi-purpose facility which includes a 5,500-seat performance hall, a large banquet area, and 3 computer labs. This week's question is, in what year did the Mansfield ISD Center for the Performing Arts open? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, in what year did the Mansfield ISD Center for the Performing Arts open? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, I'm Haley Hudson, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here with information on energy drinks in today's Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
With so many energy drinks on the market, and some with the caffeine equivalent of 6 sodas, how do you know which one is good to choose? Weight loss nurse practitioner Ashley Attaway. What is the healthiest drink?
Energy drinks are often grabbed to help people get through a long day, a big test coming up, an all-nighter they have to get through, or a big game. People drink them because they have much more caffeine than coffee. Coffee has an average of 100 milligrams of caffeine, and most energy drinks have 200 milligrams. That's double the amount in coffee or more. First, it may be in your best interest to choose a brand with less caffeine and less sugar. And be sure that you don't have allergies to taurine, guarana, or L-carnitine that may have some nasty side effects. Some energy drinks are also loaded with vitamins and minerals. If you have to consume an energy drink, do so on a full stomach so you don't have gastrointestinal issues, and keep the caffeine level under 400 milligrams per day. The popular Bang energy drink has 300 milligrams of caffeine in one 16-ounce serving. Celsius has 200 milligrams, and others have less than 100 milligrams. So look for the energy drinks that have less caffeine and don't overconsume caffeine. An overconsumption of caffeine can cause headaches, insomnia, nervousness, irritability, muscle tremors, and rapid heartbeat. Also, look at the sugar content in energy drinks. Monster has 54 grams, or a quarter cup of sugar. The daily recommended intake of added sugar is less than 25 grams for women and 36 grams for men. So 1 can of Monster is more than your entire day's worth of added sugar.
What are some better alternatives to get your energy up without using energy drinks that can be found naturally?
My best advice is to stay hydrated and get enough water. Our bodies are 50 to 70% water, and our brains are 90% water. Without enough water, we will never be able to function at the ability we need. You should consume at least 8 8-ounce glasses of water. This is a good estimate. If you're working out or sweating excessively, you will need more water. Check the color of your urine. If it's a dark yellow, you need to consume more water. The lighter the color, the more hydrated you are. Another natural energy drink is tea. Green tea and black tea have higher levels of caffeine. Tea also has antioxidants, which help protect against free radicals and may help protect against heart disease, cancer, and other chronic diseases. Fresh juice or 100% juice may also provide energy from its natural sugar. There's still a lot of sugar, so you only need 1 8-ounce glass a day. You will also find a lot of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants in a glass of juice. Real whole fruit is always the best because you have fiber that helps with keeping you full. You could also, instead of juicing the fruit, blend it, and you would retain some of its fiber. Blending it with spinach and other vegetables or nuts is a great healthy snack with lots of energy-boosting ingredients. Coffee overall is a good energy-boosting drink. It has natural caffeine and even some of those antioxidants that help keep us healthy. Another way to boost your energy is to get enough sleep. I really know how difficult this can be, especially being a parent. But getting that 6 to 8 hours of sleep is so beneficial to our bodies being able to function. As much as possible, making sure you get enough sleep will be a game changer to how you feel. Sometimes we forget to eat, and using an energy drink to supplement our diet will mess up your blood sugar and cause us to have highs and lows. If you really want to boost your energy, eat a protein and carb together for a healthy energy-boosting snack.
Thank you, Ashley, for giving us tips on what can help us get more energy. That's Methodist Mansfield News to Know. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Realtor Beth Steinke is here with important tips for renters in the Mansfield Real Estate Market update. Beth?
Renting is hard, and today it's even harder and more expensive than ever. But even more than that, searching for a rental can be full of pitfalls and scams. A few months ago, I received a phone call about a property we had listed for sale. The young lady on the phone explained that she was moving to the area from out of state and had placed a deposit on this rental, but couldn't reach the landlord. It broke my heart to tell her that the home was not listed for rent and that she was likely the victim of a scam. So not only did she lose thousands of dollars, she also didn't have a place to live. This old adage is absolute truth in the rental market today. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Here are 3 things to watch for if you or someone you know is in the market for a rental. Your first clue that something is wrong is if the house looks amazing online, but the rent is lower than the competition. Anyone can put a rental online, even scammers. You'll find these primarily on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, but they also will put them on other websites that look very official, like Zillow or HotPads. Those websites do not fact check or verify listings. You're going to get really excited and in a hurry to get your application in on this too good to be true deal, easily overlooking clues that this could be a scam. The second clue is if the person that you're talking with says the owner is a friend and asked him or her to assist with getting their place rented for them while they are away. But the big clue is that they are not a real estate agent. This is a common approach, and they seem sincere and legitimate. They may even have keys to show you the property, likely obtained illegally or even by breaking in and changing the locks. The third clue that you are dealing with a scammer is that they cannot show you the property at all. Maybe they are out of town or haven't received the keys yet or any number of other excuses. They may urge you to get your application and deposit in quickly to beat the competition. This one is especially prevalent for renters moving from other markets who are having to rent sight unseen, like the young lady that called me. Scammers will take homes listed for sale on public websites, reuse the pictures, post the fake rental listing, and then steal personal information and money from would-be renters. So what can you do? Number 1, do a quick internet search of the address. If it comes up on all of the real estate sites as being for sale or even recently sold, then you'd better ask some additional questions. Number 2, is the contact person a licensed real estate agent? You can search for license information on the Texas Real Estate Commission website. If they are a licensed agent, you can be comfortable knowing that they are offering a legitimate property for rent. It's okay to ask them too. Licensed real estate agents have to abide by all the state laws and regulations and could face losing their license if they do not. A realtor has an even higher ethical standard to uphold. Not all real estate agents are realtors. Lastly, You can choose to work with a licensed real estate professional to represent you as you find a rental. You don't have to go it alone. Realtors have access to properties listed in the MLS, and if it's not listed in the MLS, they will work with their clients to ensure that everything looks like it's on the up and up. Speaking of asking questions, do not be afraid to ask a lot of questions to the contact person on that rental listing, and listen carefully for clues that just don't add up. Moving is already stressful, and falling victim to a scam is a nightmare. Go into the process with your eyes wide open, knowing what to look for, and most importantly, with your real estate professional by your side. Are there real estate topics you want to learn more about? Send us a message. info@aboutmansfield.com. For the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Beth Steinke with Century 21 Judge Fight.
Shaken or stirred, either way, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a twist of France in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
This week's cocktail of the week is the French Martini. Several weeks ago, I started a new series on cocktails that I found on TikTok, and this week's cocktail is from Everyday Cocktail. The French Martini is a delightful cocktail that combines the elegance of a classic martini with a tropical twist. This exquisite drink, typically served in a chilled martini glass, is crafted with a blend of vodka, pineapple juice, Chambord, or raspberry liqueur, and a pinch of salt. The French Martini's harmonious fusion of ingredients creates a tantalizing taste that appeals to both the cocktail enthusiast and those seeking a touch of French sophistication. The French Martini emerged in the 1980s as a creation of bartender Keith McNally, who aimed to infuse the taste of France into the classic martini. Drawing inspiration from the French elegance and culinary tradition, McNally combined vodka, pineapple juice, and Chambord, a raspberry liqueur, to create a unique, refreshing libation. The addition of a pinch of salt adds a subtle depth to the drink, enhancing its overall flavor profile. The French Martini swiftly gained popularity, becoming a beloved cocktail among those who appreciate a great, fruity, sophisticated cocktail. To craft the perfect French Martini, you need the following ingredients: vodka, pineapple juice, Chambord, and a pinch of salt. Vodka and neutral spirit serves as the foundation for this cocktail, ensuring a smooth and balanced base. Pineapple juice, with its tropical and tangy characteristics, brings a delightful sweetness to the mix. Chambord, a luxurious raspberry liqueur, adds a touch of elegance and complexity, infusing the cocktail with fruity notes and a subtle hint of berries. The addition of salt might seem unusual, but it works wonders by enhancing the flavors and providing a slight contrast to the sweetness. The salt actually acts as a flavor enhancer, emphasizing the unique qualities of the other ingredients, creating a much more well-rounded taste experience. But as always, don't worry about taking notes, as I'll be giving out the ingredients and instructions and posting them on bourbongospel.com. Ingredients: you need 3 ounces of a good vodka, 2 ounces of pineapple juice, 1 ounce of Chambord, and a pinch of salt. This is the typical 3-2-1 cocktail. To prepare the French Martini, follow these simple steps. Fill a cocktail shaker with ice, ensuring that it is chilled. Add the vodka, the pineapple juice, and the Chambord, and the pinch of salt to the shaker, and shake vigorously for about 15 to 20 seconds to chill and combine the ingredients thoroughly. Strain the cocktail into a chilled martini glass, using a fine strainer if desired to remove any ice chips or pulp from the pineapple juice. Optionally, you could garnish this with a fresh raspberry or pineapple wedge to add another touch of elegance and visual appeal. The result is a mesmerizing cocktail with a vibrant pink hue, exuding sophistication and allure. The French Martini's smooth texture, balanced sweetness, and subtle tartness creates a truly delightful drinking experience. The French Martini is a testament to the art of mixology, skillfully blending the flavors of vodka, Chambord, and pineapple juice to create a refreshing exotic cocktail that is perfect for both casual gatherings and special occasions. Its French-inspired elegance and tropical twist makes it a beloved choice among cocktail enthusiasts and the members of my household. So the next time you crave a drink that it seamlessly combines sophistication and fruity delights, Indulge in the French martini and transport your taste buds back to France. As always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
Hi, I'm Amanda Rogers, managing editor of the Mansfield Record, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And in the studio today, you know, if you're a regular listener to About Mansfield, you know that I am a musician. I love to go out and play. My kids also grew up in the music field. My son is currently in college working on his doctorate in music. My daughter grew up in choir and musical theater. And in the studio today, this is kind of what we're talking about today. I'm really excited, is Dr. Scott Ferrell. Welcome to About Mansfield.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And you brought a guest today, and we're going to work her into the interview in just a second. I've known you for a long time.
Or known of me.
Or known of you, because
I get around. I
don't know that much about you, although I know you are the infamous Dr. Scott Ferrell. And so I looked you up on Facebook.
We're Facebook buds.
Yes, we are. Not only we have 110 mutual Facebook friends.
I don't doubt it at all. You get around as well.
So the only thing that I picked off from your Facebook page about you was you are an unconditional lover of humans, animals, and Mother Earth.
That's true. That's what I decided. That's going to be like my mantra, and it's unconditional. So I love everybody. I love all animals, and I love Mother Earth. I think we need to be better stewards of Mother Earth.
Absolutely. You think then, do people love you unconditionally? And animals, and does Mother Earth love you unconditionally?
Well, you would think that with today's heat that I'm being punished, but it's not the case. It's just, I think, a reaction to living in Texas. You can't help it. It's going to be hot.
You have a doctorate in music.
Doctorate in music and vocal performance.
And from the University of Texas at Austin. The one down the street, not up the street.
Exactly.
And how, aside from hard work and tenacity, how does one become a doctorate of music?
Well, exactly what you said. I just didn't give up. It's not that I'm smart. I just didn't give up. And so I think that's part of success. Just don't give up. And but I also love performing. I still do. I love singing. It's a part of my soul, heart and soul. And so I like sharing my gifts with others and look for opportunities to do that.
Let's go back, because you don't have a Texas twang in your voice. Let's go back to little Scotty Ferrell. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Joliet, Illinois, but I got my accent from down south in Greenville, South Carolina, where I can slip into that twang anytime you want. Yes, sir.
Joliet, Illinois.
Yeah.
Which is where, if I recall, Jake and Elliott Blues were from.
I think so.
Or at least did time.
And Lionel Richie, and also one of the largest prisons, I think, in America is there.
Well, that's right. From the Blues Brothers, that's where Jake and Elliott spent a month or a day or two there in Joliet. And you went from Joliet to South Carolina?
Yeah, because my mother she was a Yankee. And Dad was a Southerner in Greenville, South Carolina. And so the two of them, I'm like the best of both worlds, you might say. And so Mom had that, Northern accent from Illinois, and Dad had the Southern accent. So all of my family live in the South, either in Louisiana or South Carolina or North Carolina. And every time we get together, just all like this.
Drinking sweet tea on the porch.
Yeah, and Grandma would say, well, honey, you want a little something to drink? So we would sit there and we'd have our Fresca and maybe a little something in it.
Oh, Fresca. And at what age did you realize that music was going to become your life?
Probably was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But music has always been a part of my life. And Mom would sit me down and say, hey, you've got to watch this musical. It's a classic. And so I was like, okay, Mom. And so that she kind of introduced me to musicals and theater that way at a very young age. And so I started playing violin when I was in 4th grade. That was my first love. I loved the violin, loved symphonies. I was a nerdy kid who, played on the keyboard and did other, nerdy kid things and listened to symphonies with my large headphones and would conduct in my room. So that was me growing up. And then I decided, hey, I like doing this, and accidentally got a doctorate in it.
Violin at age... Oh, in 4th grade.
4th grade.
4th grade. Do you still play the violin? Because I know
play the violin. Yeah,
I
teach violin, teach voice through the Arts Institute of Mansfield.
At what age did you start? Whether it's choir classes or
choir, 6th grade.
Okay,
I had an unchanged voice, and she called me a cambiata, and I was like, "What the heck's a cambiata?" Like that's what I was, unchanged voice, and then my voice changed, and I sang my first solo.
Oh, so cambiata means
I think so. I'm hoping so.
And then, so you went from an alto to a bass?
Yeah, just about overnight. Yeah, 2 octaves lower, and away we go. Right. But I remember my first solo, and I sang in the cafeteria, and Mrs. Ezel had me sing Scarlet Ribbons. I was like, "What the heck's Scarlet Ribbons?" But I sang Scarlet Ribbons, shook like I was in a hurricane. I was just shaking feverishly and singing Scarlet Ribbons for her hair. And I was like, but that was it. I just kept going.
Is it from musical theater?
No. It's just a song she picked out, and a pretty dorky song that I had to sing in front of my peers, and they teased me about it.
And this was all back in South Carolina?
Mm-hmm. Where I grew up, yeah.
Graduated from high school in South Carolina.
Carolina.
What's a typical Friday night in South Carolina?
It's football,
Well, I mean,
down south.
let's say it's February and it's not football season.
Gosh, it was always music. I was always doing something musical, or I was also in Scouts, an Eagle Scout, and so nice. I loved being outdoors and camping and that sort of thing. So that was a typical thing for me.
Music being your life, were you in any bands? Did your life ever lead to rock and roll or country, or were you pretty much on the classical path?
When I was in scouting, my scoutmaster played the banjo, and so we called ourselves, his name was John Ramsey, late John Ramsey. We called ourselves John Ramsey and the Bluegrass Boys. And so I played fiddle in that bluegrass band and learned how to play by ear. And so that was a lot of fun. We'd do functions and stuff like that. And I also started singing in churches. I was singing, when I was in high school, I was in we called ourselves the Peacemakers. It was me and the preacher's sons and another guy. There were 4 of us, and we'd go around and we'd do revivals and sing for churches, and got paid once, and I put all of that money into a brand new microphone.
Ooh.
So yeah,
that's big time.
It was big time. I was
one of these little foam things on top.
Exactly. I thought I was the bee's knees.
With all right, so you're learning violin, and then you have to play by ear. Was that the bluegrass band? Was that your first attempt at playing by ear?
Mm-hmm.
How difficult was that, going from those little black notes on white paper to oh my gosh, I have to make up my own stuff?
Yeah, it was a bit of transition, but I would listen to other people and kind of imitate what they were doing, and then they would tell me, yeah, that sounded good. Just keep doing that. I'm like, okay, keep doing that.
Because
double stops.
I've played in casual situations, like in my home, I've got a piano, and a classical pianist shows up for dinner, and I said, hey, let's jam.
Yeah.
And the deer in the headlights, I mean, she can play a sonata or something, but she cannot. I said, okay, just play a C chord. Great. All right, now let's go to the 4. Let's go to an F chord. Okay, but she couldn't put it together into a jam.
Mm-hmm.
But then she sat there and played some Beethoven. It was just okay. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, everybody's got their thing. There are very few that can really do improv well and read all the notes. So
Right.
it just depends upon what you're used to, what you've grown up with. Now, our pianist, organist, Sonny Robertson over at our church is phenomenal improv, and she can read like nobody's business.
Give a shout out to the church.
Yeah. First Methodist Mansfield, right across from Walmart.
Ding.
Ding, ding.
There's the plug. And we'll talk about First Methodist here in a second when we find out more about you. Are you now a well-rounded player? You can improvise. You can also read off sheet music.
I'm still more of a reader. That's how I grew up,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm most comfortable with. Give me notes on a page, because Lord knows what I'll come up with on my own. So I can't be responsible for anything of great musical interest that I make up out of my head.
And still a lover of classical music.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Do you have a favorite piece?
Oh, gosh. As far as symphonies go,
Sure.
I love all the German Romantic. Tchaikovsky, Beethoven is really my favorite. We share the same birthday. So, yes, I'm a big fan of Beethoven. Beethoven's third. I like all the odd numbers. First, third, fifth, seventh, ninth. Those are my favorite of the Beethoven symphonies. And when it comes to opera, I love Wagner. I'm a big Wagner fan. Just the genius of Wagner still blows my mind. And so
The Eastern Europeans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Must be my Slavic blood in me.
I don't know. There's something about just aggressive. When I think Wagner, I think of I think of Apocalypse Now, and dun 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 dun, dun Ride of the Valkyries.
Yeah.
And or is it Valkyries or Valkyries?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, both work. Just like flout or flute. Flautist, flutist.
Carmina Burana. It was just like from the opening note.
Oh, Fortuna. Big and loud.
Yes,
love it.
Yes. 1812 Overture. If it has cannons in it, it's got my attention.
Which I've actually done before with live cannons. We did that in Brevard, North Carolina when I was at music camp there. It was fun. Those cannons ringing out over the mountains. Love it.
Oh my gosh. You just came off a tour. You're now like a touring artist, or I don't know. Tell me about this tour. Were there green rooms with blue M&Ms and
Oh no. It was nothing that glamorous at all. We about every 4 years, the choir, my chancel choir and I will
from the church.
Yeah, we'll go on tour because a lot of them don't like to travel, unless they're with other people in their group. So they love it when we go on. And it builds camaraderie. You get to know people. You don't really know somebody unless you travel with them. And so we get to know each other and, plant some seeds out there, some good music, some good vibes. And so we traveled to Canada this year, and I'd never been. So we went to Montreal and Quebec City. We love Quebec City. It's like an old European town. But yeah, we did probably 11 concerts in less than 2 weeks. We were working our booties off. But it was not for the faint of heart. A lot of these churches, gorgeous as they are, didn't have air conditioning. So we would all the ladies were fanning themselves. Oh, it's like, so we'll manage. And we all did. We keep smiling and keep singing. And there are no choirs in where we went. There were no choirs in Montreal, no choirs in Quebec, no choirs in Toronto. So we were kind of an oddity, and they kind of missed their choirs. It's a dying art form, I guess.
Yeah.
And so they were very appreciative to have a large choir. We had 35 people singing, and also our handbells. We took some handbells.
Oh, the handbells.
And so they sounded great in the cathedrals and in the churches. And so we many were blessed by our presence, coming up with tears in their eyes. It was like, oh my gosh,
all well attended.
Not very well attended.
No,
but those that were there were very appreciative, and we blessed them and represented Methodism, Texas, and the United States really well.
This all coming out of Methodist Mansfield, again, the church right across the street from Walmart. You guys are known for the pumpkin patch.
Yes,
okay,
the pumpkin patch.
And people out there are going, oh yeah, that one. Aside from the services that are held at the church, you are also doing other musical things. What are some of the other things that you're doing at the church?
Well, I've been there over 20 years now. So I've been working here in Mansfield since 2001. So 22 years now coming up. And ever since then, it's been my belief that First Methodist should be the center of community support. We support the community in so many different ways, not just with, providing back to school goods and other services that are needed, but we also provide the community with opportunities to hear great live music. Each and every Sunday, we have our orchestra and our choir, and sometimes bells. And so we serve the community in that way, but we also support Main Stage Classic Theater, which is a community group that I've been a part of for a long time. Right. We host the Mansfield Philharmonic, which has been around for about 5 years. I can talk more about that in upcoming concerts.
We actually have Eldridge Marshall coming up on the podcast as the season is about to begin.
Wonderful.
And
Good.
so he's going to come into the studio and we'll talk a lot about what he's doing and with the Philharmonic. So.
Yeah, and we also host a couple of the high schools. They'll come, like Mansfield High School. They'll come and do their winter concert in our sanctuary. We host them. And
I remember Reginald Wright standing right there.
Right there.
My son was in choir, and then later my daughter was in choir. And lots of
you've been there. You know what it's like, and we love doing that. We love supporting the community, and we'll be hosting the Arlington Chorale that Reggie is now directing. That'll be coming up December the 8th. That's a Friday night. And so we're excited to do that. And hopefully we'll have a new instrument in our sanctuary by then.
Oh, do tell.
Well, we're working. We've raised about $60,000 thus far towards the purchase of a concert 9-foot grand Steinway.
Oh.
And that's another way that we support Eldred and the Mansfield Philharmonic. He's a phenomenal pianist, and usually we have to rent a Steinway for those concerts, but we would love to have this instrument in our sanctuary to be available for high schools, for piano recitals, for symphonies. I think it's going to be a game changer, and I know Reggie was really excited about getting a 9-foot Steinway as well. He's quite the musician himself.
So First Methodist Mansfield it's not just a church.
No. Not just a church.
Yeah.
We are a community church, and we support the community, and we're open to everybody. Open arms, open hearts, open minds, open doors, the whole thing.
Tell me about the young lady that you brought into the studio today, and then let's talk with Haley.
Yeah, well, Haley Hudson's with us, and I invited her to come along after we got in touch with each other about today's podcast, and she's a much more interesting person than I am. And,
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, but she's one of my students that I've known for about 4 years now, and she came to me, and we started working together, and some wonderful things started happening.
I've been with you ever since.
Yeah, ever since. And so she just grew and blossomed into a phenomenal singer and musician, 2-time All-Stater, doing musicals here in town, and is now finishing up her first year. And
as a musical theater major.
She was my belle when we just did our Main Stage Classic Theater's production of Beauty and the Beast, and that's a role that she has reprised. And I promised Haley that we'd get a good beast for her, even if I had to do it myself.
Yeah.
And I'll be dadgum if I didn't have to be the beast. And
you found a good beast.
I found a good beast, I think.
Well, Haley, welcome to About Mansfield.
Well, thank you.
And it turns out we, in the few minutes that we had to chat before we start recording, we have a mutual friend.
We do. We do. Your daughter, Sophia, we did Beauty and the Beast together.
You were a freshman at Mansfield High School when you landed the role of Belle. Yeah, that caused a big splash, but I had a good time with it. It was the summer after my freshman year. We put together a good show, I think. I enjoyed it. Now you've played Belle twice. Yes. Do you have a favorite line from the play, and a line not from another character, but a line of Belle's? Well, Belle's my favorite, so let me think. My favorite line is he gone? Can you imagine? He asked me to marry him. Me, the wife of that boorish, brainless. It's
right after Gaston asks her to marry him. And it starts into the Belle reprise where she runs onto the fields and asks for a better life.
Yes.
It's my favorite part.
Yes. Gaston was particularly good at expectorating.
Yes, very good. Very good.
Which happened to be my favorite line. How well do you connect to Belle? For instance, are you a bookworm?
Yes. Well, I just started to be a bookworm, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Scripts are my thing. So I read a bunch of scripts. I try to read a script every 2 weeks. That's my thing.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't grow up to be a bookworm, but I kind of forced myself to be one. And now I am a huge bookworm.
You read a script every couple of weeks. Have you come across anything that you would like to perform in the future that you go, oh my gosh, this is me. I have to play this part. And if so, what would that part be?
Well, back to Beauty and the Beast, since I've done it twice. Belle is my favorite character I've played so far. I played a lot of princess characters. I played a nun. I played an evil eel. I played a caveman in my most recent college performance. We did Firebringer. But Belle's my favorite because she's so strong and intelligent, and I think that is what sets her apart from other princesses. And I like how sassy she is.
She's kind of like Barbie.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Come on, Barbie owns her own house in Malibu. She owns a Corvette. She's a business owner. She's got to be a strong woman.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stereotypical stuff about Barbie that probably is not what she really is. I mean, I think she's a strong woman.
I think she is too.
No one just happens to buy a house in Malibu unless they've got some backbone.
And she's got Ken wrapped around her finger, that's for sure.
That's right. That's right. So you've been working with Dr. Scott and for the past 4 years.
Yes.
What has he taught you?
Well, he's taught me all about vocal technique, but since he's been working in the professional world for theater for a long time, he's helped me. He's been my mentor when I was going into college, these huge college auditions. I don't know if people don't normally know, but to get into a musical theater program, each school only takes about 25 students with thousands of applicants. Right. So it's a very tough process, and Dr. Scott was there the whole time.
Right.
We're in my living room, had all the lighting set up. My whole living room was turned into a studio to record for these auditions.
It's a big process.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it is.
And it's extremely competitive, which is, Haley's just finished up a one-day musical theater workshop this past Saturday.
I'm trying to help kids learn about this college process because for me, it was a huge wake-up call.
Yeah. And where do you go to college?
Dobbins Conservatory. So my conservatory is located at Southeast Missouri State University.
Huh.
I moved all the way to Missouri for this musical theater gig.
That's cool. That's cool. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, in 10 years, I'm hoping to move to England after I finish. And I already have a couple of my professors are helping me get in contacts with some agents. And I'm going to move there and find a job, hopefully.
Would that require acquiring a British accent?
Yes. So in the next show I'm doing, we're all doing a workshop with an English accent. Nice. So hopefully I can work on that. I've already got my dual citizenship. My dad's originally from England, which is what's pulling me towards England.
Someday you'll be playing at the Old Globe Theater.
Hopefully, maybe.
And you have an upcoming workshop that you're teaching at the workshop, or you're training at the workshop?
I'm teaching the entire workshop. I really want to help kids with the college process, so I have a day at First Methodist Mansfield, June 29th, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's going to be a good time.
That's actually this coming Saturday, July 29th. 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.? It's an all-day affair.
All-day affair. We have a showcase starting at 6, and it finishes around 7.
9 a.m. to 7 p.m. What will the kids be learning between, what's that, 7, 8, 9, 10? That's 10 hours of...
Yes.
What are they learning?
So I actually started interning at First Methodist Mansfield, and one of the jobs I do is I became a voice teacher this year, so we're going to do personal lessons with voice lessons and workshopping their songs. They also get to workshop their monologues with me, and then we work through an entire audition process so they can know how to audition. I work through their resume and headshots, and we also have a Q&A with Addie Morell as she's playing Cosette in the national tour of Les Mis. And we do a self-taping session, and we talk about the college audition process and getting their materials. It's a long day. But
long day. But I told Haley, it's like, you have so much knowledge and information just, from what you've been doing. And so I was like, you got to do a workshop. I want to go to the workshop.
Come on.
Haley Hudson.
Now. Bring it. Tell me about your background then. How did you start in musical theater?
Well, my story's kind of similar. I started at ASLO, and I sang in the cafeteria, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and the choir teacher found me and snagged me, and then I was doing choir ever since. I was in Reginald Wright's choir all 4 years, and I started theater pretty late with Sarah Corley at Wester. We did High School Musical. She got me to play Gabriella. That was a great time. And then once I joined at Mansfield, it took off after Beauty and the Beast. I found my family, and my mom came up to me and was like, this is really your thing. I had a huge background in choir, singing in choir, and with Allstate, it's a really rigorous program, so I was singing a lot there, but theater was the one I had the best time with. I think it's an art form that reaches the most people, honestly.
Yeah.
But I've been singing since day one, since I was born. I've been humming, and
I think, generally speaking, more people would rather go to the theater to see music theater than to go to
opera
and a hall and see a choir.
I would agree.
Would both of you agree with that?
Oh, totally.
Totally.
Yeah. Totally, yeah. Well, I used to do opera, and then I got to musical theater kind of late, and I was like, this musical theater singing in English really gets a lot more people, I think.
Yeah.
But I love opera too.
I did my first opera this year, and I would agree. It's harder to understand those opera singers, but it is a good time.
Dr. Scott, what's coming up with you? Do you have any performances? Do you have anything our listeners should know about?
Other than you'll get to hear about the Mansfield Philharmonic starting up, and that's going to be a wonderful, wonderful season. I already mentioned the Arlington Master Chorale coming up December the 8th, that Friday. You might want to put that on your calendar. For me personally, we've got a Veterans Day parade coming up, as you know.
Every November?
Every November. This year it's actually on Veterans Day, 11/11.
There you go.
Mark that parade on your calendar, because I'll have my choir out there, and then we'll have one of the high school choirs we always combine with to help lead in the salute. So that's coming up. I need to do a shout out for Artscapes. That's coming up in September. I believe it's a Thursday night. Just look out for that, because that really helps a lot of artists be able to do their art and share their creativity with all of Mansfield and the surrounding communities. Other than that, it's just choir and orchestra starting back up on August the 6th, and we're going to be back in the sanctuary. We took July off, kind of, sort of, and excited about getting started with that. Open to everybody.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep on.
I can't believe you've been there 20 years.
I know, it's amazing.
So you going for the Rolex? Is that?
Yeah, the fake one that you get in off the streets of New York. That one. That's the one I'll get. But I'll take it. Whatever. I love Mansfield. I live in Mansfield now. I used to live in Arlington, but now I pay Mansfield taxes, which hurt a little bit. But I'm here and supporting, and my wife is a counselor here in MISD, and so she's at Reed Elementary School. She's Cheryl Ferrell, and she's my one and all. And
that's a nice rhyme.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Cheryl Ferrell.
Cheryl Ferrell just makes you smile. But you can't say one without the other. Talk to Cheryl Ferrell, and so that's pretty much what I do. I do my music. I love to teach private voice and violin, through the Arts Institute of Mansfield there at the church.
Right.
And I love helping people achieve their dreams and their goals, which is a lot of fun for me. We'll be very busy and try to get a hike in every now and then, and walk the dogs in the morning, and away we go. Life is good.
Well, again, Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you for being
pleasure.
here, and always a pleasure to meet Belle. We'll see you in 10 years in London,
Hopefully, come meet me there.
and we'll see you at the First Methodist Mansfield.
Yeah, or in town at the Veterans Parade.
There you go.
Come say hi.
Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
Pleasure.
Coming up next week on About Mansfield, we are in studio again with yet another fine Mansfield resident. You will just have to tune in to find out who it is. As always, this is the place you'll hear the latest Mansfield news, sports, and conversation. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, love, or support this podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Mansfield Real Estate Market Update, Beth Steinke. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is prohibited. We thank you all for listening. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.